As we come on the air, there are 800,000 people in the state of Arizona who are right now being deprived of full representation in Congress, thanks to House Speaker Mike Johnson's refusal to swear in their Congresswoman-elect, Adalita Grajalva. Mike Johnson has double and triple and quadrupled down on his refusal to seat Grajalva. He is claiming that he's following House traditions of swearing in members only during regular sessions, except that isn't his own tradition. As with many things MAGA Republican, there's an obvious and clear double standard staring us in the face. When Republicans are the ones who win and would benefit, Mike Johnson, as he did in April, swore in 2 new House GOP members during a pro forma session. Watch.
Will Representatives-elect Fine and Petronas and members of the Florida delegation present themselves in the well? As all members rise and the representatives-elect, will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, you're now members of the 119th Congress.
See? Mike, you can do it. That oath was administered when they were not in session, and importantly, within 24 hours of those Republicans' victories. Now, almost a month after Representative-elect Grajalva's victory to represent her late father's district, the state of Arizona is taking legal action. Arizona's Attorney General Chris Mays has filed a lawsuit against Mike Johnson for blocking Grajalva from being sworn in to do the job she was elected to do. He argues that, quote, constitutional rights cannot be used as a bargaining chip. Attorney General Mays adds in a piece for MSNBC this, quote, this isn't just an attack on the voters of Arizona's 7th district. It's an affront to every American who has a constitutional right to representation in Congress. Let's be blunt. This is taxation without representation, the very injustice that sparked the American Revolution 250 years ago. As for Mike Johnson's motives for breaking his own very recent precedent and refusing to seat Grajalva, a Democratic representative, we're left to guess, but we do know that Grajalva has promised publicly to be the pivotal 218th signature on the House's bipartisan Epstein discharge petition. The filing from Arizona's Attorney General states this, quote, Speaker Johnson has not identified any valid reason for refusing to promptly seat Ms. Grajalva. Instead, on information and belief, Speaker Johnson wishes to delay seating Ms. Grajalva to prevent her from signing a discharge petition that would force a vote on the release of the Epstein files and or to strengthen his hand in the ongoing budget and appropriations negotiations. That is where we start today. I want to bring in Representative-elect Adalita Grajalva of Arizona. Also joining me at the table, former Criminal Division Deputy Chief at SDNY, MSNBC legal analyst, the host of the YouTube show Courtside, Christy Greenberg is here. Joining us as well, Tara Palmieri. She writes the Red Letter on Substack and has hosted 2 acclaimed podcast series on the topic called Broken, Jeffrey Epstein, and Power, the Maxwells. Representative-elect Grajalva, just take us inside your current state of limbo.
It's basically we have access to what was my dad's office. It'll be my office until December of 2026. We have keys. We have, I have a laptop, but we don't have access to any of the databases that are important. And respectfully, I can't serve constituents until I'm sworn in and actually have constituents.
Have you had any conversations with Speaker Mike Johnson about why he saw to it to swear in 2 Republican representatives when Congress wasn't in session, but won't see to it to swear you in?
You know, I heard him say, there's been no direct conversation with me and Speaker Johnson. He's made flippant comments and sort of, these explanations that are and excuses that are debunked on a regular basis. But what he said is that the two members from Florida scheduled an appointment for them to be sworn in, which I'm like, how do I sign up for that gig? And that they brought in their families. And so that's why they made the exception. But so if I sign up and bring in my family, will he swear me in? No, he's basically continued to make excuses about why I'm not sworn in and has not made any effort to communicate those to me directly.
Have you walked into his office and tried to ask him for one of those appointments?
Well, we did go down. I went with a couple of friends down to his office to try to get some attention. He wasn't there. And I respectfully don't know when he is there. I did call. I've left 2 messages. We sent a letter, and then AG May sent a demand letter. I did recently, just yesterday, receive a call from his chief, to sort of, because I'd called and said, do we schedule a meeting, or how does this happen? Then he gave me the number to another chief to schedule something. But at this point, now that the lawsuit has been filed, it's probably better for me not to have any direct communication with him outside of legal counsel.
Is the lawsuit intended for a court and a judge to require him to swear you in? And would you drop the lawsuit if he proceeded and swore you in?
Well, and this is for Attorney General Mays, to weigh in, but our big issue is swear her in, give us a date. And that's why I think, people have been asking, well, why did we take so long? Well, one, my race is certified. And once that happened, then Attorney General Mays, I think, started looking at, okay, so what are the other reasons? Because being in a shutdown does not preclude swearing people in, because there was a whole class in 2019 that were sworn in during a shutdown. I mean, I've met with many members of Congress that were sworn in a special. It's pretty common, and it's supposed to happen fairly quickly. So this stalling is just really highlighting why Speaker Johnson is doing this. And the other is it's just blatant obstruction.
What is your sense of how desperate he is to avoid this vote on the discharge petition?
Well, we do know that Speaker Johnson ended cases early.
It's been almost a month since the residents of Arizona's 7th District elected Adalita Grajalva to represent them in Congress. And as we've covered extensively on this program, Speaker Mike Johnson is refusing to seat her so that he can delay her deciding vote on a discharge petition to release the Epstein files. Now, because of that, Arizona's Attorney General, Chris Mays, is now suing Mike Johnson. Here's part of an op-ed she wrote for MSNBC.com. Quote, "My message for Speaker Johnson is clear. Respect the will of the voters, seat Adalita Grajalva, and let her get to work for the Arizonans who elected her." And Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays joins us at the table.
You know what, General Mays, I think while we see what is happening in Washington with power being abused all across the country in the states, governors and attorney generals like yourself are fighting back to preserve the rights of the people. And this is an example of that. I think that this lawsuit is not just about the 7th District in Arizona. I think it's about representation for everyone and the ability to elect someone and then have that person you elected seated. What precedent are you relying on to win this lawsuit? We were all very enamored and wondering that you chose to sue the entirety of the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
Why?
So great question. So we decided to do that because we wanted to make sure that we could quickly get to the merits of the case, and we didn't want Mike Johnson to make any sort of immunity claims. So we thought that was the best route to go. But what we're relying on is the fact that the Constitution and federal statute does not allow Mike Johnson, as the Speaker, to deprive my state of an entire seat in the House of Representatives. We are now down a seat. We have 9 representatives, but we actually only have 8 because Adalita has not been seated. And, it's been 4 weeks since she won her election with 70% of the vote. And we've gotten about 6 or 7 or 8 different explanations from Mike Johnson about why he won't seat her. And, you know, it was long past time for us to do something about it. So I filed that lawsuit, and, you know, we will see him in court over this.
And you think this is about Epstein? You think this is about the fact that she's the 218 vote on Epstein?
I think you almost have to infer that. You know, I mean, what other explanation is there? There's certainly no legitimate explanation except that she has made it clear that she's going to be the final vote on discharging the Epstein files. You know, he's also been sort of making some statements that would suggest that this is about, you know, holding this over the heads of our congressional delegation, including our members of the Senate, Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego, and trying to get them to, you know, end the government
Instead, they've been going toe-to-toe with the speaker. Like, it is not working out for them the way that Mike Johnson thinks it might.
Right.
No, I don't think it is. But I'll tell you who it's definitely not working out for is the people of my state who are actively being harmed. Adalita Grajalva cannot represent the 813,000 people of her district. She can't help them with Social Security benefits. She can't help the veterans with their benefits. She can't help with the flooding issues that we've been having in her district. And, you know, we fought a revolution.
Tonight, 800,000 Americans are being silenced, not by war, not by disaster, but by the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. Mike Johnson is refusing to swear in Adalita Grajalva, the Congresswoman-elect from Arizona, and the reason is as petty as it is dangerous: political control. Let's be clear, her election is certified, her victory undisputed. She won by a landslide, yet for nearly a month, her constituents have had no voice in Congress, no representation, no vote, no one to fight for their benefits, their veterans, their flooding relief. Nothing. This isn't procedure. It's punishment. Johnson claims he's just following House tradition, that members are sworn in only during regular sessions. But that's a lie. His own actions prove it. Just months ago, he swore in 2 Republican members during a pro forma session. No objections. No delay. The only difference now? The new member is a Democrat, one who publicly vowed to be the deciding vote forcing the release of the Epstein files. So let's connect the dots. A speaker under pressure, a looming discharge petition that could expose powerful names, and a conveniently timed technicality keeping one vote off the floor. That's not governance. That's obstruction of democracy itself. Arizona's Attorney General calls it what it is: taxation without representation. And she's suing, not just for one district, but for every American who believes their vote should actually count. This moment is bigger than one seat. If the Speaker of the House can simply decide when democracy applies, then the Constitution is no longer law. It's a suggestion. And that should terrify every single one of us.